thank you. It's good to be here, and thank you for coming to Phoenix. We had a wonderful event last night. Stacy Huck, who planned that event, it was fabulous. The food was great. The pool side was nice. The weather was so wonderful, especially coming from the north. And what I particularly liked about it was the camaraderie. It's always fun that first night when everybody gets together. The buzz is amazing. The willingness for KOA owners and managers to share with each other and the excitement they have for reacquainting with friends is truly amazing. And I heard it a number of times where people were talking about, I learned this on my way here, and someone showed me this, and we got together and did that. It's quite a family we have here, and you guys should be proud of that and for all that you do. I'm not sure what's left to say. I mean, Toby, gave you a really great perspective of the brand value, and John filled you in on the economics that we've got. So, I think maybe I'll just talk about myself for a minute. This is my 35th convention, and I've been at KOA for 36 years. That's applause because you think that's good that I'm here, or if yes, I'm a survivor. But nevertheless, I missed one year, and this is also my oldest son's 30th birthday today. And so you can imagine what convention I missed, right? 30 years ago, he was born, and we were in Las Vegas, but I wasn't there. But I think I've made all the ones since that. And of course, in the audience, that's a lot more than many of you have made, but I know there are so many people in this audience that have done more than 35. And if they haven't personally, their families have. So it's just fantastic. If I had to pick one word to really sort of suggest what all this means, I'd have to use the word momentum. We have an amazing amount of energy that has been created by the brand, by our in KOA, and by the economy, and most importantly by you. You have done so much to make the brand better, and that's really what I want to spend my time talking about this morning. I also am thankful for a lot of things, and the one thing that comes to mind first is the KOA staff. Toby mentioned a number of key individuals there, but the KOA staff in Billings is made up of about 75 people, and they're all working to help grow the brand and support you and keep our business going, and they're fantastic people. We have 75 people in the Billings office and probably another 10 in the field in our business consultants and our quality assurance teams and our sales teams. They're out there trying to grow the brand. So there's a lot of great support. And there's another individual that I'm very thankful for, and this is my wife, Brenda. And Brenda hasn't been to many conventions, a few, certainly not 35. But it's great to have her here today. And this picture, I chose it. It's a part of a theme that I have going called "Mom on a Rock," but it'll come into perspective really when I show you the last slide in my presentation. And this is, of course, we're talking about climbing mountains and rocks, and this is really sort of one that we had here. But when I asked her, I said, "I'm going to introduce you at the convention from the stage," and I said, what picture do you want me to show? She said, "I don't want you to show any pictures." So, but I didn't listen. And she said, "Well, if you have to show something, show some pictures of me fishing," because she loves to fish. And she always catches bigger fish than I do and more of them. But when I put this in here, I also thought, she's great when the fishing's good, but when the fishing's not so good, she sits there and she found another thing to do that day as we were up on a mountain lake in Montana with our dog. Seemed to be pretty tired too. So, Brenda has been my life partner for not my whole KOA career, but most of it, 33 years. And she, as many people say, is the better half, and there's really no doubt about that. She is an amazing person. I'm so blessed to have met her and married her, and I thank you, Brenda. You know, this is our theme, and Toby talked about how the future is now, and it's time to seize the thing and go for it. And I think we're in an amazing position to do that. I said the momentum, the energy that we all have to grow our business and launch. We are in what I like to think of as the perfect incubator. I mean, there are so many good things to nurture our investments today, right? I mean, the business climate, the brand, you know, the quality of the KOA system. All that you're doing is a great support mechanism. It's the incubator for growing any of your ideas. It's hard to make a mistake. You can go and do things on your campground, and they work. They all work because you're doing things to help improve the experience of the guest. You know, and I think about what are the factors that have influenced where we are today? You know, what brought us to this current place? And of course, as I mentioned, you know, Toby talked about the brand value. The brand has never been stronger. And I think about that's not a small feat. You know, a campground system that's 55 years old, and to have taken a brand that was fairly static and still a quality, but it wasn't going anywhere, and to reinvigorate that brand through our marketing and through all the investments that you've done on your campgrounds, and for completely changing our perspective on guest service and outdoor hospitality. I mean, it's quite amazing, I think, when you think about the fact that if you put your mind to it and you focus on it and you continue to work hard, you can change the whole perspective of how the brand is recognized by the guest, and we've done that. And so this incubator is there to support that. We've got the business climate, and then finally, you know, it's you. You know, your entrepreneurial spirit, your optimism, your willingness to take risks. You know, those are the things that have really catapulted us into where we are today. Now, we have done a great deal to improve the quality of the KOA system. I know you believe that. But we just did a franchise satisfaction survey recently, and all of the results on it were very good. And I think Darren is going to share a little of that with you maybe while you're here. So, you know, but frankly, you know, we got the answers we wanted to hear. You know, we thought we were making progress in the areas we want to make progress. But this one particular area really surprised me. And when it was asked about what you thought about the system quality in the last 3 years, is it getting better? Is it staying the same? Is it getting worse? And there was a 10-point drop from 2014 to 2017. 49% felt that the KOA system was getting better. Now you're saying 39%. And I want to talk to you about prove you wrong. I want to talk to you about why I think that's wrong, that indeed the KOA system is getting better. It's a much stronger brand and better facilities, better service than it's ever been. So let me show you some of these things. First, 2 individuals in our business development department. For most of my career at KOA, we had 1 individual, and that person kept up just fine. You know, they were providing upgrades on electrical, bathroom ideas, facility changes, the kinds of support that you need to help improve your campgrounds. We have 2 people filling that position today, Doug and Jeff, and they cannot keep up. We have so many requests for site expansion, site modifications, patio site, electrical upgrades, bathroom renovations, store remodels, that they are booked out for a long time. So we have easily twice as many requests than we ever had before. So that's one thing. We have Independence Bank, which John referred to, $125 million in capital loans out to date. So they are doing things to help you invest in your campground. 39% of KOA campers also believe that KOA has modernized a great deal. That was in a recent research that we did. We have Founders Awards that continue to climb, and as of course you know, the Founders Award is a combination of what the guest thinks of us and what our quality assurance teams rate us. As you can see, when we started this thing, we had about 149 or so, 150 campgrounds that qualified for the Founders Award. In 2017, there's almost 215, almost half of the KOA system is at this level. A dramatic empirical kind of information that says that the KOA system is getting better. Our Net Promoter Scores, Toby mentioned this, a great increase in our Net Promoter Score. This is a research that we have asked hundreds of thousands of campers every year in the same consistent manner. We've continued to ask this, and right now we increased another point last year. So we continue to inch up our game when it comes to how we improve the guest experience. And we don't do that simply by providing quality experience at front desk. We do that by providing great experiences in our facilities and our activities. And this is my favorite one I've showed you every year, and I honestly believe that a system is only as strong as its weakest link, right? I mean, it really, we are all tied together. You know, the stays, and I talked about that last year, about how, you know, what you do on your campground benefits your neighbor. When we started asking our system about our campers, about overall satisfaction back in 2003, we set a benchmark that said that, and it was the average score that they gave us on a 5-point scale of people that said, yeah, we have overall satisfaction was 5, was 40%. So that was the average. So half the system was higher and half the system was lower than 40%, right? That number today is 461 campgrounds above 40%. I mean, that is dramatic. You know, over 200 campgrounds have raised their scores from below 40% to above 40%. We don't have any weak links in the KOA system anymore. We are a strong brand, and our facilities are better than ever. We continue to add amenities that provide great experiences for our guests. And the glamping, Toby talked about the number of KOAs that have entered into this market. We have the deluxe cabins, and we have the patio sites. So we're doing things that are making a difference in the guests seeing. This is a little bit different slide than what Toby showed you relative to brand position. These are the branded and committed campgrounds into our program here, and there's about 430 if you add it all up. These people are going to make the commitment to improve the quality of their product, to build their campground out, to focus on the kind of guest where they can do the most, get the most bang for their buck. So this is a great way that has influenced how we have grown our campgrounds, our facilities, our service, our infrastructure, and stayed current. I think that, you know, those are some of the facts that really sort of speak to why the KOA system is better, why you are better, why your campgrounds are better than they used to be. And, you know, as an anecdotal information, you know, I like to go out to Yellow Pride, you know, which is a Facebook page that about 250 campgrounds are part of. And the kind of information, it gets me excited when I look at it and see all of the things that people are doing out there. The most recent one that I think was probably as dramatic as I've seen in a long time was a complete makeover of an A-frame. And they posted the old picture and the new picture. It was Wilcox, Arizona. And it was truly impressive. I think that I see that kind of thing happen every day. You guys are doing an amazing job. We have these connections. We have the 20 groups that go in and promote each other and help you grow. We have franchise leaders, and it's not just a few, it's a lot. All of you here in Phoenix today are franchise leaders. You're the ones who are coming to have an interest in your business, to go out and grow it and interact with our guests and help make the brand better. So where has this all led us to? You know, where do we stand today and the current state of our situation? Well, I guess the most important one would be higher occupancy, right? Our occupancy has increased 50% in the last 5 years. 50% growth in occupancy in the last 5 years. We had an issue. We had a problem 5 years ago. Apparently, we had a lot of spare inventory because we filled it now. And we're finding times, I'm sure, that certain sites at certain times of the year, we're having to turn people away. So that's one thing. And I'm going to give you this information because I think it's important to know what's going on right now so we know what to do with it, right? So what we can do that'll affect it. We have longer booking windows. In other words, the time that people start to reserve your campgrounds is backing up. And a good example of that is this. Reservations, online reservations as a whole are up about 20% for the year in 2017, right? In January of this year, online reservations were up 40%. So actually 43%. So dramatic increase, right, in people wanting to book early. VKR sales in January were up 36%, anticipation of wanting to go camping. The internet reservations, as Toby mentioned, have moved up from almost 50% of our total reservations. So keep that in mind, longer booking windows, right? There is less price resistance out there. The demand that we're having for our product is causing less price resistance. We build a quality product. You can see that the guest believes that their experience is better than it's ever been. We have more demand, and there's less price resistance. We have more new guests. Again, we talked about the RV travel trailers that are being sold to younger people. We talked about, I think that the fact that Toby hit me with the other day, which was surprising to me, and she showed it there, but it's worth repeating, is that when I think of our campgrounds, you think a lot about the people like myself that are in the baby boom generation, and we definitely fuel a lot of the revenue in the system. But 41% of our guests at KOA are made up of millennials or Gen X's. You know, that's fantastic. Those people have a lot of life left, you know, and they have a lot of time to come camp with you and spend their time with you. And so if we can get a bigger and stronger hold on those people, our future couldn't look brighter. We have unique accommodations and cabins, and then the rental market that Toby again referred to. Fantastic opportunity for people to engage with us in our sweet spot. And what's our sweet spot? RV sites. We have a lot of RV sites. And if we get more people involved in that, I always said, you got to own an RV if you're going to do business with us, but that's not true at all anymore. You know, the RV rental market is extremely strong, and then the companies like Outdoorsy, which is here, which is the Airbnb of RV rentals. So, I mean, I think that it's going to be a very bright future for bringing a whole lot of new campers to our front door. And so we've got that consistency of year-over-year performance, you know, that momentum that yields an extremely strong system. Now, okay, so what are we going to do about all that? We've got all those people out there that we've got these trends that are quite amazing, and we've got this situation where we find ourselves, and we're thinking, what is it that we can do about that? Well, what comes to mind, I mean, it's pretty basic. Doesn't cost you a lot of money. That's good, right? So first of all, we want to focus on the guest reservation and arrival. You know, it just makes sense, right? You got to have more people who are trying to make reservations. You got more new campers. Where do you focus your efforts, your energy? On the guest reservation and arrival process. You want to get them when they're making their reservations. You want to get them when they walk in your front door, and you're going to keep them, and they're going to stay longer. I wish it was, you know, as easy as that, but right now, I just told you that reservations are windows backing up, right? I mean, people want to make reservations sooner and sooner and sooner. We have 171 KOAs that have yet to extend their calendar for 2018. 171. What an easy thing to do to drive business to your park open up your calendars and allow the reservations to come in. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. I would like to have those advance deposits in my bank account. And then let's talk about the pictures again. Toby mentioned it. It is worth repeating. There is no better thing you can do for your park than ensure that the pictures that you have on KOA.com, where so many people are coming and making decisions about staying at your campground for the first time, those pictures don't tell a wonderful story. If they don't tell a wonderful story about your park, about your sites, then you need to focus 100% of your time this winter on trying to make those better. So promise me you'll do that. You need to establish demand pricing. Now, most of you do that to some way, and we don't have dynamic pricing like we hope to in the future, but you need to go out there and establish some pricing that equates to the kind of demand that you're receiving on your campground. And don't do that just once. Go in and restate your rates again and again. And the thing that you'll find that's great is that K2 is more flexible and easier to maneuver your rates around than Campsite's ever been. So, and speaking of K2, I forgot to mention that, you know, I was talking about things I was thankful about. I'm thankful I don't have to come up on the stage and say it's coming. You know, my gosh, that was painful. But it's here and it's great, and I'm so excited that it's going to be an offering to help grow the KOA brand even further and help your businesses grow. You've heard this word a lot, modernize. It's important. Our guests react strongly to it. Use the site guide, the site grading guide. We have used that site grading guide on every company property. It is a fantastic piece of work that allows you to go in and establish the backlog of capital that you need to improve your park on. It is a great exercise to do. It doesn't take long. I encourage you to use the site grading tool and understand where you sit, where your sites are relative to modernizing. Prioritize your operational problems. In other words, when you're focused on stuff you want to work on, focus on those things that help you out operationally. You know, we talk about capital investment in our own properties, I always sort of want to go to the big fun things. You know, I want to invest in those things because they're more exciting. And Terry Shade comes to me and he says, you know, we've got this wet area. We really need to spend a whole lot of money to drain the swamp here on these sites that they get full of water. And I'm thinking, oh, but what about this nice shiny thing over here? I want to spend my money here. But he's so right. You got to spend your money on those things that cause you problems during the season. And wet areas are a good example of that. When it rains, you can't rent the site, right? And so how do I free that site up for use all year? You got to develop patio sites. You got to develop accommodation options. You focus on your showers and your restrooms and your store and your retail. There's so many things you can do. But one thing that we haven't done a lot of lately and at KOA, and I'm not sure ever really, is the focus on recreation. And the recreation, the fun experience of our guests on the park is something that we need to spend some time trying to provide some support materials to help you come up with ideas. Now, there's a number of you that do a fantastic job with this, but I think we can always improve this. And one of the things that I'd like to talk about, just very briefly, is this concept of pocket park programming. What I'm showing you here is a slide of our Virginia Beach KOA, and it's about a 2-acre piece of property that has a couple of activities on it, but really not very organized in any particular way. And the concept here is to create a park within a park. And I'm talking about a well-designed, landscaped area that offers multi-generational activities. So something for all ages to do. Not a playground for kids, but that could be part of it. But not something just for adults either. So it's something for all generations to enjoy in a passive way. In other words, it doesn't take a lot of activity or interaction by KOA staff. So these design features are a social gathering spot, a relaxing atmosphere, park-like setting, and we want it, this is critical, is that it be designed very well and have commercial-grade products. So here's an example of that same spot that we've designed in Virginia Beach, and we're in the process of bidding this improvement currently. So this R&D, this greenhousing of this idea that Jill Currier is working on. And when we do this, these are the kinds of amenities we're talking about here. You know, commercially designed bocce ball courts that are well lighted, concrete cornhole, concrete ping pong tables, rock climb boulders, sidewalks and sitting areas, campfire areas. Now this can be done in a 2-acre piece or a 1/4-acre piece. And we tend to provide some design ideas for you and some suggestion of products that you can use in these areas. Here's another place that we're currently under construction in Nashville. And that whole center around our pool is sort of a final phase of a renovation of that particular campground. And we're going to add those pocket park features, this natural experience throughout that area. So I encourage you, if you have an opportunity, to stop in at Nashville after we're completed, probably this spring, and also come up to Virginia Beach this summer and take a look at what we've done there. But we'll be providing more information on those products soon. So here's the Nashville product completed. Okay, well, I'm going to get off the stage here, but I think that to wrap it up, the sort of the keys to success here, I guess the phrase that I like the most is trust the rope. You know, that's my daughter up there, and I always got to believe in that rope, right? But she's pretty amazing, but I think that trust the rope has to do with you got to trust in yourself, right? You got to trust in the brand. You got to trust in your neighbor, your other KOA peer group. You got to trust in the economy. Those are the things that have to have that's what you got to have before you can go ahead and take the risk, right? You got to do that. And so I think there's a lot of similarities in the rock climbing to business, and success can be compared to the climbing of a crag or summiting a mountain. It's the accumulation of strategic moves, one after the other, that leads you to success. And you know, if you don't trust the rope, what do you think happens? You freeze, right? I mean, I'm here to tell you, because I've tried it, and I do freeze. You don't go anywhere, you know, so you got to trust that. So I encourage you to do those kinds of things. Now, there's a challenge associated with it, and that's climbing a mountain, and that's an attempt I made on the Grand Teton this summer. And the thing that I'd like to suggest here is that when your challenge is to try to find out, you know, where you're going and get direction, right? But you also want to do a good job of mitigating the risks. And in this case, this picture, we're mitigating the risk by those 2 gentlemen you see up there at the top, the guy sort of peering around the corner there. Those are our 2 guides. And without them, you know, it would have been a disaster because they helped us. And your risk is mitigated as well. It's what I've talked about here. It's what Toby's talked about here. It's what John's talked about here. Your risk has been mitigated. You are in a wonderful incubator to grow your business. You need to take advantage of it now. The future is now. And then what do you get at the end? Well, you get a reward. And I told you that I'd show you another slide that compared to my wife's slide on a rock. Well, this is my daughter on a rock. She takes it to a different level, however, and we don't like to think about this much. We check Instagram often to find out when they're back in service again. You know, that's how we know they're still around. But I think that the reward, you know, that's what you get now. That's the reward. That's the fun part. It's intoxicating. It is intoxicating. When you go out and you improve a site, when you improve your bathrooms, when you improve your store, isn't that just the most amazing feeling when the guest comes in and it gets to experience that? I mean, it just helps you want to keep going. It makes it all worthwhile. It makes you why you're here at the convention. It's because of that enthusiasm, because of your successes. And it's the rewards you get for doing that. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I'm so proud of every one of you. I'm so proud of the KOA system. I thank you. You all deserve a big round of applause.